Hello, and welcome back to the Links Golf Club podcast, Governor. Your weekly chinwag all about our brilliant club in the wide world of golf, isn't it? I'm Gregory, and I've got Cooper and Chris here. This week, Rory almost won the Renaissance, but then he didn't win it. We also preview the British Open with a fun new game and much more. Come along for the ride, gentlemen. How we feeling today? How's it going?
Wow, what an intro!
I'm still recovering here.
Yeah, I'm hyped up. I'm amped up. I'm feeling good about Northern Ireland now. A chinwag. I mean, what a reference! Incredible.
Don't know what it means.
We're wagging the
Put it
chins.
into British Google Translate.
Greg's trying to engagement farm by doing a bad accent that all the Irish people will react to, and then
100%. Come at me, lads. See what I did? See it? Yeah, but y'all doing good? Like, excited? This is a big week. How you feeling? How you sleeping? How you eating? Just give me the rundown.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's coffee golf. We've got coffee even though it's, fully evening UK time. But really stoked. I mean, I think I saw a post this week about how the Monday to Wednesday before some of these epic majors like Augusta, the Open, are just the best time periods, right? We get so much cool insight into the players, the fields, the courses that are going on. Both with like live from and social media. It's just been a good week on that front.
For sure.
Yeah, the content is all over the place. Lots of content to consume. But yeah, excited for the week. Got my schedule lined up. Gonna do some working out tomorrow morning in front of the TV. Some coffee golf / workout golf going.
Get your pump in. You're ready to go.
Exactly.
Sweet.
No, I love it. And catch some of the early stuff early in the day, before the kids get up. It's gonna be good. Excited. Although I'm also preemptively sad. Do some working out tomorrow morning for like Sunday evening. It's gonna be majors are done for the year, which is always a bummer. Middle of summer.
But what do we have around the corner?
We do have the Ryder Cup coming. No, I love it. Catch some of the early stuff early in the day.
Well, any announcements? Any potential? Maybe.
Although I'm also preemptively
sad. Lay on.
Yeah, well, we have to remind everyone, of course, today's podcast is sponsored by Gemini, middle of summer.
But what do we have around the corner?
Hang on one
We have the Ryder Cup coming. No, I love it.
I've got an audio
We've got some AV difficulties.
problem right now. We've got some somebody's sound.
Although I'm also preemptively
You got Chris. Lay on.
Yeah, well, we have to remind everyone, of course, today's podcast.
Got too many tabs open.
Gemini, middle of summer.
Live television, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is
We have the Ryder Cup coming. No, I love it.
problem. I've got an
We've
audio.
got some AV.
There we go. Okay, it was playing from Discord. Let's try that again. Thank you everybody for bearing with us. Sorry about the double audio. Welcome back. Should be clear now. That was schizophrenic.
We're doing it live.
Yes,
Doing it live.
we're good.
Do it live.
That's what we get for doing it live.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, today's podcast is sponsored by the Gemini Credit Card, the only instant crypto rewards credit card out there, and hands down, one of the best credit cards if you love golf. We talked about it last week. They are giving 10% back in crypto on all golf course transactions up to $250 a month until September 30th. So that's a pretty amazing deal for our folks that are listening to this podcast, our members who obviously love golf and love crypto. So that means greens fees you're paying, your monthly dues if you're a member somewhere, any spend on Hillcrest or Spay Bay memberships, any spots at Linksed Out events, any green fees at Links courses, you are getting 10% back, up to $250 of spend a month until September 30th. We talked about it a bit last week, but the card is great. You get rewards instantly in your portfolio. It's actually kind of amazing. Like right after you spend, you look in the app, you have the rewards there. And even beyond the 10% back on golf, they have a great reward structure just in general, $200 sign up bonus. I think I have gone from a trust month. It's been pretty awesome seeing the rewards rack up And obviously it's in, well, you can choose over 50 cryptocurrencies to get rewards in. The market's been doing well lately, which is always fun. And a lot cooler to see that in your portfolio adding up versus some travel miles or rewards points. So we are super excited to have them as a sponsor. We talked about it last time, but Bitcoin rewards earned and held for 1 year on the Gemini credit card have appreciated 176% on average. Coop's showing off his orange card over there. Greg, what color did you go with? I don't think we talked about this last time.
I went with black. You know, my wardrobe is 3 colors. It's like dark blue, dark black, and dark gray. So I had to coordinate.
Yeah, fair. I did too. Not flashy like Coop. Couldn't go with the orange card, but you know, you can do you. You can get it in black, silver, rose gold, or Bitcoin orange.
Yeah, the guy at the club when I paid my greens fees, he didn't ask about it, but he wanted to because of the orange card, the Bitcoin logo. I could see in his eyes like, what's that? Like, is that, you know, so we're getting close to onboarding more golfers, you know, more pros at golf courses because of the bright flashy color. So, you know, something to keep in mind when you're ordering your card.
Love it. Love to see it. Getting the word out. But that's a good time to mention, to sign up for the Gemini credit card, head to gemini.com/linksdao. It's gemini.com/LINKSDAO to get $200 in sign-up bonus when you spend $3,000 in your first 90 days, and to start earning 10% back on golf course transactions. I meant to ask this before. So Coop, you used it at the course to pay a greens fee. What have you guys used it on?
I did.
Last week?
Used it for a greens fee. I set up my club dues, monthly dues, to be paid on that card, on the Gemini card. Just been using it for snacks. I've replaced it in my Apple Pay. You know, whenever I'm tapping, I'm using it now just to try to do that. Plus, we've got those entries. Every $50 you spend on it, right, is an entry to the Ryder Cup. So trying to rack up those entries, it's like a $10,000 giveaway for a trip out there to Long Island. So everything. I've been using it for all of that.
I ordered a DoorDash burrito. I got some ramen.
Greg's giving
went
us
to
all the detail.
went to a Yankees game. That was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah,
Then
that's
I
good.
bought a new skin for my Precision Pro, no free ads, but Precision Pro rangefinder. The other one broke, so I got a new Josh Allen one. So that was sweet. I also bought a new tea bag from Fife, it looks remarkably good. And then, you know, more importantly, spent some money at golf courses. I played out at Hermitage in Nashville. So yeah, it's not just for golf, but obviously, like, the golf reward is insane. So I'm gonna try to get out there more often and spend.
Yeah, I set up my dues to start going through it, and then also I have to say, uh, monitoring the transactions over the past week. I'm maybe eating out too much, but getting 3% back on that. So you know, silver lining.
Basically free money, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta spend money to make money, as
Yeah.
they say.
That's right. But super excited to have Gemini as a sponsor and to be partnering with them. Mentioned this, but we've got some other things in the works with the Gemini team. So excited to talk about some of that in the future. But yeah, great having them on board with Linkstyle, and excited to announce it last week, and excited for all our folks to be earning 10% back on golf this summer. So with that kicks us off on the announcements. But Coop, what other stuff we got going on this week?
If you're watching along with us on YouTube, you've probably seen, but if not, click in. Our reversing spay video is one of our hottest videos we've ever put out. Little round of applause here for Greg, for Bert, David, everybody who's been involved in the spay bait team, the project, making that so exciting. All of our members who have voted on, you know, various aspects from acquiring it to the winter work project. The progress there has been really cool. Dropped that link in the chat. You can subscribe, follow along for more info out of our course in Scotland. That video is up. Make sure you check that out. And then we also released yesterday in a premiere, probably one of my favorite of the 4 building links out episodes with Derek Duncan, who's the architecture editor at Golf Digest, dropping that video in chat as well. Just a really cool deep dive on the behind the scenes of what makes golf courses great golf course experiences, from design, architecture, clubhouses, playing by yourself in the sand hills, right, and the weather, and kind of experiencing those great golf course moments that we have come to love, right? Whether you're out there with buddies and making a great guys trip, or really just diving deep into what great golf holes and great golf courses are and what they mean, and how they're ranked, who ranks them, how superintendents kind of look at the process. It's a super great video. So make sure you go and check that one out. And the other videos in the Building Links Dow series. Greg keeps on coming up with banger guests for that. So keep a lookout on that front. For those of our members who are watching, or prospective members, we've got some really cool stuff rolling out with our Clubhouse, which is our member portal. So if you're a Linksdow NFT holder, a Links membership holder, you know that Clubhouse is the place to sign up for the email newsletter, as well as accessing all of the benefits of Links membership, like benefits from our 70 partners, our golf course access, private course access, member-to-member reciprocity network, and so much more. Greg as well, keeps coming back to Greg's greatness, has been leading the effort to revitalize Clubhouse, which is already a great product. So we're beta testing the newest version. Keep an eye out in Discord for your invite to get first access to that if you want to be part of that group testing the latest and greatest of Clubhouse technology. Give us a ping, and we'll get you in there. It's coming along super nicely. So those are the three biggest things on my radar right now, from the Lynx side. But it's a big week in golf. Last week was a big week in golf too, right? We had Chris Giddy up. Some great tweets. He seems like he knows what he's doing on social media.
Giddy up.
Yeah. What do we think about Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun. I mean, we talked about it last week. It was average golf course, but it ended up having some drama in the end. Like, Sunday was a fun watch. Like, there's the will he, won't he Rory situation. He ended up not. It was a won't he situation, not a will he situation. And it was cool to see someone that I knew very little about win a tournament, especially one that, is, I think, important as a national open. That, like, those are always ones that I circle on my calendar. And it was fun to watch. So enjoyed it. I don't know how much we want to talk about it, but it definitely, I think it was made more interesting by Rory sort of charging and then faltering and then still having a chance. And then, it gets to that point. It's like almost like you're watching like one of the break series videos on YouTube where you're just like, got to make these scores on these last two holes, and then just like doesn't. You're like, well, maybe he'll hole out and maybe he'll have a chance. No, he didn't. But it was cool to watch. What were y'all thoughts?
I liked it. I mean, I like it every year. It's like a great preamble to the Open, right? Kind of setting the stage, getting you in the mood. Had some Scottish weather going. People were wearing sweaters and long pants playing out there. Wind gusting, everything. So I think it always fills that spot well on the schedule, regardless of how the tournament turns out. And then having Rory competing is always fun. Chris Goddard, I mean, he's kind of been knocking at the door for a while, and has kind of busted out a little bit this year. So cool to see. And I don't know if you guys watched earlier in the morning, but the Evian Championship, the LP, or the women's major, finishing earlier,
Yes,
was craziness. And so it's like, watch that led into the Scottish Open, made for a great day of golf. I know we don't have this on the agenda, but like the Evian, Lottie Woad, who's an amateur, had the solo lead for a bit. She ended up finishing, I guess, technically third, but that was pretty exciting to watch. And then the finish was absolutely ridiculous.
crazy.
Grace Kim basically eagled the last hole. It's a par 5. Eagled the last hole, absolutely sick fairway wood from the fairway
Nuts.
to like 8 feet, or less than 8 feet. It was coming back. No, that one was a tap in. Excuse me. So she like eagles the last hole, then goes into a playoff with Gino. Looks like Grace Kim looks like she's completely screwed her chances. Hits it in the hazard on her second shot, like almost looked like she shanked it, and then holes her chip to birdie the hole and tie it. And then eagles it the third time around to win. It was like absolutely insane. So, anyways, watching that and going into the Scottish made for a fun Sunday of golf watching, even before we got to major week.
100%. Great plug. Well, let's talk about, so from now on, just as a note to the listeners and the watchers, I'll be exclusively referring to the Scottish Open as the Open. You know, we have a Scottish golf course, so that's the Open. The British Open is going to be the official way that we talk about the British Open, the one that's happening at Portrush. I'm sick of lying about like wanting to call it the Open, and every time I just naturally call it the British Open because that's what I grew up with, and I'm getting older. It's the British Open. Come at us. Just remember what happened in the 1700s. All right, so let's talk about this. I think another programming note for all of these major pods, because they're so important. We've had Joe Idoni on, who does preferred lines and tour picks on Twitter. Fantastic resource for us as we try to get better at sports betting and sort of just preview the tournaments in general. He's taking a much needed vacation. He already sort of logged his main pods, taking a vacation this week, so we weren't able to get him on. He'll be on the next one. Obviously, for the Ryder Cup, we'll have him on, and then also, for majors next year. So if you were looking out for Joe, he's still alive, unlike other people that we've accidentally called dead on this podcast. But he's still alive. He's very happy. He's just on vacation. All right, so British Open, specifically the British Open, not the Open in Scotland. Where does this just rank in all of your favorite important golf tournaments for the both of you?
I mean, it's up there for sure. I will have to say, I mean, the Masters, I think, is my favorite, and I do really enjoy the U.S. Open. I'd probably have it like tied for second with the U.S. Open. I love that it's a different flavor of golf, different look. All of that is great, and clearly that ahead of the PGA Championship in terms of majors and viewing enjoyment. And it's cool. I don't love that they moved the PGA up. Like I said, it sucks that all the majors are done in mid-July every year. But now with its spot in the schedule, it's the last chance, right? It's the last major of the season, which gives it a little more weight, I think. So yeah, I mean, really excited for it. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of a different style of golf. Get some coffee golf. That's always fun. Middle of June when it's baking over here.
Yeah, I'd say
T2. So T2 for the British Open for Chris.
Somewhere between, it's definitely above the Truist at Quail Hollow. No, it's definitely, I'd say probably like top three. But I think the fifth major, the Players, is underrated in all of this, right? Like I think it's probably tied with the Players. It's like Masters, U.S. Open, and then the Open and Players, and then everything else. But the Open has grown on me so significantly since, watching Tiger at St. Andrews as a kid, and then now that we have a lot more experience with links golf, with golf in the UK, I think it's really so much more intriguing, and looking at how the players have to be creative and play with the elements right in these courses, and how much different it is of a test than what we have for the other majors. Definitely continuing to rise up the ranks, and I hope that we get another classic this week.
Okay, love it. I think for me it's Ryder Cup 1, US Open 2, British Open 3, US Am 4, Masters 5, John Deere 6, PGA 7, I think is kind of my general one. The last one was obviously a joke. But I agree with Cooper. Like, this was one of the more, like, alongside the Masters, this was like the iconic tournament growing up, right? Because it was so memorable and so different. But I just, as we've fallen more and more in love with links golf, like, this tournament becomes more and more fascinating for me. So, some divergence, but some similarities there. Let's talk about the tournament itself. The 153rd British Open Championship takes place July 17th and 20th this week, 2025, at Royal Portrush, Northern Ireland. There's actually two courses at Royal Portrush. Dunluce, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the one where our players will be playing. Number 9 in the world, according to TopGolfCourses.com. That puts it as the second highest of the open rota. So, like, when we talk about last week, like, I don't know, Renaissance is a venue, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're getting a really good venue. We know venues matter for tournament golf. We're getting an elite venue here. There's very few golf courses in that area of the world they could play that have a consensus ranking is higher, right? So I guess for y'all, what stands out as you've gotten up to speed on Portrush? There's tons of great content out there across socials, across YouTube, diving into the course. What stands out to you about Portrush, if anything?
I mean, to me, it's probably just we're getting a little different style of links golf than a lot of the other, all the venues in Scotland or England. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of the cool things about the Rota, right? Every course that's on the Rota has a little different feel, but with Portrush, you get more of the Irish feel, huge dunes, big contours. Even if Portrush doesn't play into them or around them quite as much as a lot of the other Irish courses, visually it looks a lot different, which I think is cool. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit of a change of pace even within the Rota schedule. Obviously, the fact that it's in Northern Ireland is cool and different. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit. And the fact that, you get to hit a different locale, and you also therefore get some of the hometown, like, Rory and Shane Lowry, there's the kind of hometown favorite vibes you don't really get at some of the other open venues, which I think is cool about this one. So those are probably the biggest things. I like that, though. I like that it, adds a little different variety for this stop on the schedule. It's pretty cool.
I agreed. Yeah, I think to your point about the dunes, one of the interesting things, so I played it on Sim this week on TrackMan, and then have watched it.
So you're an expert by now.
100%. I could
talk a lot
72 probably conservatively in these conditions, right? Maybe lower on normal member day. But I also watched a lot of videos about it. I think the thing that strikes me, not having a ton of experience, because like I watched the 2019, but I just wasn't as into golf as I am now, so I was watching it as like very passive observer. I think what makes it, what I'm interested in seeing is that the way the greens contour, like there's definitely some that seem to push balls closer to the hole, but there's still a lot that run back, and because of the dunes, a lot of the greens are pretty protected. So like it's going to be interesting to see how people play these shots, and obviously like how firm the greens are. But like there's a lot of times where I was like, all right, cool, I know this is where I want to hit it. I hit it there, and it ended up being 20 yards off the back of the green because the greens were playing a lot faster, and because I, maybe I didn't feel comfy about a blind shot or whatever. Like it's just that to me is the thing that's the most interesting. And the other is like hearing reports online that like in the practice rounds, players are having a ton of trouble keeping the ball in the fairway, which maybe isn't as much of a penalty as it is at Oakmont, but it's nasty. Like it's really nasty because you find yourselves in these situations where you're hitting out of really weird, uneven, basically hazard everywhere off the fairway onto these pretty tough greens. I think we're going to see a lot of high scores. I don't know what the ending score will be, but that's what I'm kind of looking at the most. Coop, what about you?
Yeah, I think I agree. The one thing that I would kind of contradict your statement about Oakmont is like you're going to get consistently nasty rough lies 5 yards off the fairway and 20 yards off the fairway at Oakmont. The one thing that we've experienced with links golf, Bebe, you've seen some of the drop areas that they have. You get thick bushes, fescue, gorse, all kinds of crazy stuff. When you get more than like 5 yards past that first cut, that really can penalize you in this type of golf that we don't see in other times. Pot bunkers as well is another element here that you're not going to be able to just take a 5-iron out of a fairway bunker and still get up close to the green. You're going to have to maybe take a 3/4 shot with something and just get back into play. So I'm really excited about that element of the game that we see here. And yeah, I think, just watching Bryson warm up, the magic and frustration of links golf where you can do everything right, you can dial in all of your stuff, you're just going to get weird bounces and fun kicks. And I say fun as the viewer, sometimes as a golfer they don't work out in your favor. But I think that's what kind of makes a venue like this special.
Yeah, this would be like, I mean, we've talked about this in the past about what one of the things that makes golf cool is they play on different golf courses. It'd be like playing the Super Bowl, like on a field that was completely different dimensions and absolutely had like no predictability about what kind of turf you were going to step in or anything. Like it adds so much intrigue to tournaments like this. Cool. So let's do a little bit of history. Portrush first opened the British Open in 1951. It was the first ever held outside of Great Britain, and continues to be to this day. The three, including this one, are the only ones that have been held outside of Great Britain, which is pretty cool. Max Faulkner won in 1951. Obviously, Chris, you're a huge Max Faulkner fan. Won't ask you because this podcast will take too long to talk about him. But then, like you mentioned before, Shane Lowry, hometown hero, won in 2019, which was a fantastic tournament to watch. So I'm very excited here. I think, Chris, you might have a fun fact for us about that tournament.
Yeah, just one of the things that I was, just listening to stuff about Portrush and the Open this week. It's pretty cool. So the current course record at Portrush is officially 63 by Shane Lowry in the 2019 Open, which is cool in and of itself that he shot the course record during the Open that he won. But that's only the course record because they had just renovated it before bringing the Open back to Portrush at 2019. So the previous course record was actually Rory, who shot it at 16 years old, which is incredible. Jamie Kennedy had an awesome Twitter thread on this, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go read it. He kind of recounts it, hole by hole and a lot of the ins and outs. But he shot 61 as a 16-year-old at an Open venue, which is pretty amazing. And so that's a pretty cool backstory. And, he grew up not like right next to Portrush, but in the country, as kind of hometown kid. So that's pretty neat. And, we'll get to picks and stuff later, but you'd like to believe that Rory has some good knowledge of the course and knows a bit how it plays.
Yeah, I mean, if the Masters this year were probably cumulatively the most pressure he's felt playing a golf round, I have to feel like this is a close second because of him being in Ireland, Northern Ireland. It's going to be, I mean, it's who I'm rooting for emotionally. It's who I definitely want to win.
He even, I think he had some answers in the press conference around that specifically. Like, I think he noted that in 2019, it was overwhelming, and now he feels more comfortable going into it and more, just kind of level-headed and knows it's coming. I mean, whether that's the case,
I say that every round too, and then I absolutely
exactly.
evacuate myself when we go for it.
Yeah.
He has missed the fairway both times off the first tee in his
I saw that tweet
practice round. Yeah, so well, what he says and what he's demonstrating are two different things. But
I saw that too. I was feeling very high on him for a pick this week, and then saw that tweet. It's making me feel much less good about it.
Maybe
he had a quad bogey on the first hole in 2019. Start off the tournament and miss the cut. So not a great sign.
Maybe he's playing 4D chess. Who knows? A couple other things. This is the third time that it's been played at Portrush, which is great. A couple holes that I've kind of tagged for interest. I don't know if you all have dug this deeply into this. 4, we talked about OB. Like 4 looks like it's going to be a challenge. 5 was like my favorite to play. I would just go play on Simulator 5 over and over again because you really have to decide like how aggressively are you going to cut that dog leg, and if you don't, then you're likely going to go through the fairway into the rough beyond, and it's a really hard approach shot. I don't know how. Maybe it'll be very easy for them because they're going to be able to cut a lot more aggressively than obviously I can. But that was really fun. And then 16, famously, Calamity Corner. It's like I don't know what it's going to play this week, but it's a really long par 3. And people, consensus is one of the hardest par 3s in championship golf. So that's going to be probably pretty 2 outcome. We're going to probably see some pretty high scores there.
Looks just so intimidating, so insane. Yeah. You're basically hitting over a canyon, even though it's really just a sand dune. But talking about the undulations and the elevation change and all that, Irish dunes.
Well, it's fun too. Like last year, we got one of the best short par 3s in the world, Troon, And it's just so funny how differently that challenge is. Like that hole is really hard because of the bunkering and like slope of the green, and this like is long and intimidating. So we'll see how they play out.
Yeah. It is cool too. I saw a photo on Twitter of a picture of 1951 and a picture of 2019 of Calamity Corner, the 16th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Looks the exact same. They're even teeing off, I think, from the same spot, which is kind of crazy to think about with equipment changes. Maybe that's not totally true. Maybe it was a perspective thing, but that's pretty cool to see, similar spots over and over, over a half century apart. I had this kind of thought. It's always a little wild to me how much some of these open roto courses change from year to year, which, unless you're kind of a golf sicko or really into golf architecture, you probably don't even notice it, but they make huge changes to these courses. Like at Royal Portrush, they completely took out the 17th and 18th holes and just added two new ones, added currently the 7th and 8th. They did this prior to the 2019 Open, but you kind of see this every year. Like, when they were at Hoylake, they added the new 17th par 3. They were starting on a different hole. Certain holes were going different directions. Like so many different changes. Which is kind of funny when you think about all the tradition and everything that's, I think people probably assume about the Open or just golf in general, and about like what makes some of these tournaments important or feel more important and all of that. The fact that they changed the courses so significantly is a little wild to me, and especially at the Open versus some others. Like, they make changes at Augusta National every year, but it's in general, it's like, pulling the tees back a little bit every year, that kind of stuff. It's not wholesale routing changes, new holes and all of that, which almost feels like it should take away a little bit from it. But I don't know. They seem to have been able to get away with it and not lose too much of the tradition and all of the kind of allure that comes with all the venues that they're visiting.
Sure. It kind of sounds like the theme of the Reversing Spay episode a little bit. There's something in the water over there. All right, top three favorites according to Data Golf: Scheffler, Rahm, Rory. No surprises there. And then Fraser Jones. Sorry, man, but longest odds in the field. A bunch of people tied for 0. Data Golf doesn't show that many decimal places out, but he was the last person on the list. So if you want the longest of the long shots, Fraser Jones is your guy. So let's like kind of pivot into more how we're thinking about this tournament specifically. Who are you feeling this week? What kind of tournament do you think we're going to get?
You want to go first, Scoop?
Yeah. I think it's, with all the rain, it's going to be a little softer than we could expect. We're talking about course records. I think that's potential. My hope is for more chaos than that. Of course, I'd be very happy to see Rory pull it off. But I was excited to see my guy Matt Fitzpatrick doing well in Scotland recently. Got the autograph here. Love that. And then I think also Adam Scott has been, coming off that U.S. Open play. I would like to see him do something cool in all of this as well. So those are my two picks. What do you guys think?
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned already, I was feeling very good about Rory despite the OB balls on the first tee. And even with that, I am rooting for that, if I'm honest with myself. Like it would be very cool for him to win not just the hometown Open, but 2 majors in a year, being the reigning Masters champion, all of that stuff. His buddy Shane won last time they were here, and then if he got this one, that would all be very cool. The obvious pick, Scotty, of course, but I think one of the interesting storylines is, can Scotty perform and actually win or compete at an Open Championship, which he hasn't really thus far. And he's far and away still the number 1 golfer, and he's played well on, as he always seems to do on typical tour courses, but if he can pull it out. So, certainly it seems like those guys are primed for it. And then I feel like the other like obvious underdog pick, or obvious like further down the board pick, is Tommy Fleetwood. I I feel like he always gets picked for the Open. Just obviously he's English and all of that good stuff. But this year he's coming in as like a bona fide top 10 player in the world, despite not having any PGA Tour victories, not having any majors. So he certainly has the potential to do it. We'll see if he can kind of make it happen this week. But it does seem like it'd be a very good fit for him if he can pull it all together. So I'm liking his odds this week as well.
Yeah, I think that all that's fair. The person that I want to win the most is Rory, for all the reasons that other people want Rory to win. The person that I think is least likely to win is Bryson. I just didn't like what I saw with Bryson last year. I don't think he's built for everything, and he's a robot. I think he's just like, if you've never played a links course, you understand that, especially when you don't play that style of golf as often, it is as much of an art as it is a science, and he's very much a science guy. I think in some time horizon, I think he can figure it out, because if he's shown anything, it's adaptability and learning. But I just think like his sort of emotions are centered around knowing things and being able to control things, and with the weather and the undulations and everything else, like there's just too many variables to be able to control. And that's like last year, it's just like seeing him kind of more frustrated and like asking a lot of questions that were, why did it do that? It's like, well, because you had a shitty shot. Like, you didn't plan that one out right. Like, that's why it did that. No real reason to ask. This is a known problem.
It does seem like a uniquely bad fit for Bryson. Not just
Yeah.
Portrush, but like every Open venue. It's like it's just not set up how his game is set up.
Yeah, I mean, I would be less surprised if Fraser Jones won than I would if Bryson won at this point. I'm sticking my neck out there. And then like
take
a
that
couple
bet.
of people that I want to see stuff from. Like, I want to see something from Ludwig. I want to see something from Morikawa. And then there was a really good tweet from who was it? Shane Bacon. I'm pulling up my bookmarks right now, but it was Kyle Porter. That in the last 10 years, it's really not even close that Jordan Spieth has been the best British Open player. Obviously, it's like he's like a completely non-factor, but he's my favorite golfer in the world, and is still the person that I want to see something from. So it'd be great if he just top tens. Like, if he just like shows something, shows that he's back. Winning would be interesting, because then it kind of puts him in the Ryder Cup mix, which I don't know if I necessarily want. Like with a bullet, he's in there, but yeah, I mean, Spieth is like far and away across the board, putting, round the green, approach, off the tee to green, has been the guy at the British Open. And then as far as like what kind of tournament, I want a weird tournament. Like, that's the reason I tuned into this. I want weird. I want unpredictability. I want, like, it's the same kind of thing, like going into a US Open, especially at Oakmont, you're a masochist and you want to see people struggle and you want to see it being hard. I want to see people figure out how to think through the weirdness. And like, if Oakmont was like, I don't know, like the state of Montana, big, brawny, overcome the elements, everything else, I want Portrush to be like Austin. I want it to be weird.
I think it's primed for that this week, though. Like, Open venues typically, or just links golf in general, is adds a little more variability to it. They've got the tight OB and potential for big scores, which throws some variability, some volatility into it. And they're gonna have the weather too. It seems like it's gonna be like raining the entire tournament, and probably some wind as well. So that's all of that adds up to some weirdness and some randomness. So I think you're gonna get your wish, Greg.
Can't wait till tomorrow morning.
One thing I saw where they put in wider toothed rakes. Did you guys see that they're longer teeth
Yeah, I
and
saw
they're
that.
further separated, just to make it so the ball sits lower in the grooves and the like sand that they rake? I mean, what type of crazy thought process is that, like, to change up that element? I hope that they're doing everything like that behind the scenes that they can to make it as weird as possible with that. I'm behind you on that take, Greg.
Yep. Or screw it, just don't even have rakes. Just play the ball where it lies.
Flatten it out with your foot. It's good.
Yeah, and it should be. I mean, I think the other thing we can say is, like, it looks exceptionally conditioned right now in the videos. Like, I think we're gonna get
great.
good turf.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I want to do a little bit something different. I'm going to hold the space for this might be a stupid idea that people hate, including the two of you might. But I wanted to try to do something a little bit different and give us a chance to have some camaraderie over the course of the weekend. Typically in these, we have Joe on. Joe's an expert bettor. He's a professional bettor. We sort of learn from him what he's thinking about. We ingest all of his thinking. We make our own picks. We stick our necks out in the line for some Lynx coin. I wanted to do something a little bit more collaborative here, mostly like, Northern Ireland, kind of European, less, like more socialist kind of situation. Like I wanted to make sure that we're kind of working together rather than competing with each other. One of my favorite things in the NFL, like these kind of like memes that pop up, is bingo cards during a game. So like I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. There's this one account with the Bills that every single week creates a bingo card and then updates it when stuff happens. Will this storyline emerge or will this thing happen? And it's just a fun way to sort of engage, not just in like the performance on the golf course, but also just like the meta of the event. So with y'all's sort of commitment here, we're going to try this out. What I've done is I've created a bingo board, quote unquote, but it's going to be open. I couldn't fit British Open all the way in, so we're just going to shorten it to open.
It'd
I'm sorry
be a
if
very
that's
long
confusing.
podcast.
Yeah, Scottish fans. But each column for OPEN, just like a bingo card, think about BINGO at the top. This is OPEN. We'll put this out on Twitter so people can follow along. But the O is going to stand for outrage, so like chaos, controversy, weird moments. Like think of that potpourri kind of thing. P is for performance, player feats, bombs, failures, like all the stuff that happens in the golf course. E for emotion, where's the drama, where's the sentiment, the feel-good moments. And then N is for nature. That's going to be the element. That could be anything that happens in nature, right? Pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do then is each go around. We're going to try to assemble this open card. It's going to be 4 columns, 4 rows. And then as these things happen, we'll cross them out. We'll keep track of this. If you notice something that we don't, tag us. You know how to reach us. Find us a tag. If one of these things happens and we didn't update it, let us know about it. And then all together, we'll try to get an open. So either diagonal, across, or up and down. How's this sound to you guys?
Great.
Like it.
Golf bingo.
Is our goal to hit every category during the week? Like we're trying to find things that are going to hit, or is it to get the like weirdest thing to hit within a category, or the most?
I think we just want to get
a
good question. I think we just want to get a bingo, or an open. So if we get 4 cross, if we get 4 up and down, or if we get 4 diagonal, then we're good. There's no free square, only 4. But the true opens are the friends we made along the way, so we're going to kind of figure this out. But I think it doesn't matter how we get there as long as we succeed in getting one of these. Okay. My thought are we'll fill this out and then maybe randomize it, because one of my biggest fears is that like we put things in the wrong spot and they just don't hit and we have no chance. We end up failing. So we'll probably randomize it like a bingo card, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, cool. But I assume the rule is you can't pick something that's just run of the mill. Like it has to be something that's somewhat interesting.
We can do whatever the hell we want, but yeah, I think it needs to be interesting stuff. It needs to be like it needs to be like one click deeper. It's like, everyone knows about Nirvana. Let's go down to Pavement. We don't have to go all the way down to like
can't be someone makes a par.
Yeah,
first hole. Can't be
sure.
a super
Sure. All right, so I'm gonna kind of get us started here. I'm gonna propose one for outrage. I am betting that someone will break something with a club. Right. So I think some of these have to be like kind of vague, but someone's going to use their club as a blunt instrument to break something. It could be the club itself. It could be a sign. It could be they take a swing at fescue and the fescue breaks. Like they use their club as an instrument to create damage. So,
something other than a tee.
The Wyndham Clark pick.
Well, I had another idea, which is specifically Wyndham Clark breaks something and gets banned from Royal Portrush unless he pays for the damage, donates to the charity of the choice. That's a different one that we can talk about. Sure. But this is definitely in the ilk of a Wyndham. Not to kick a man while he's down.
He's going for a different kind of Grand Slam. The Grand Slam of getting banned from all the clubs on
that was
1 year.
That was good. To watch out for you. That was good. All right. So I just got rugged from our doc. But somebody go next. What's another thing? You can pick any category. We're just trying to pick one.
I'll go next. In the outrage category, I think someone is going to card a score of greater than 10 on the first hole, specifically. So we talked about Rory shot at 8 in 2019. I think, OB both sides. You got first tee jitters, and it's a major, people are nervous. I think somebody is going to put up an 11 or higher this week.
Love that.
Which will be fun chaos to watch.
I love
So
that.
it has to be, it can't be greater or equal to, it has to be greater than 10.
Greater than 10.
Okay.
That's
I like
excellent.
it. I like it.
Mine, I'm gonna give us kind of an easy one here in spirit of our bingo, but when you see somebody hit backwards out of a pot bunker, it got to be at least -1 yards. They got to go like definitely completely opposite the direction of play to get out of a pot bunker. Tag us. That's I'm looking forward to.
Shot tracker is going to show negative yardage.
Yes.
Shot.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Need that.
Okay. Like it. We can kind of skip around here. I'm going to do one for, I'm going to do, yeah, definitely in the comments if you have ideas. Help us out here. Would be great. Let's do performance. I'm going to say hole in one. Not great odds. It happens. It's probably not going to happen.
Do you have the betting odds up for it? Do you know what the odds are?
No, good question. Betting odds for a hole in one at the 2025 British Open. How good
Like
Gemini
4 or 5
is
to
here.
1, something like that.
Generally around -120 for yes, -110 for no. It's more likely not to occur, but it's, roughly a push.
All right. That'd be fun to see.
Yeah, chat. Let us
Okay.
know in these categories as we go through what your kind of crazy stuff you're looking to see. Just drop the question in the chat. Love to hear from you guys on this as well.
All right, what else we got?
For this one, I was going to say I think someone's going to set a course record. We were talking about it before, but obviously the current course record is the newer one, right? It only extends for so far, so it's kind of like it hasn't been around for too long. Rory shot better than it on the old version of the course, so it seems like there's some potential there. Plus, maybe some wet conditions. Maybe things aren't going to get. They'll be a little more receptive, the greens, or they won't get crazy rollout into the rough and everything. So I think we might have a chance to see some low scores. If it could completely go the other direction, right? If there's like torrential storms and wind and everything, but I think we've got some potential to see some low scores being shot. It'd be fun to see a new record get put on the board.
Nice.
I'm in favor. Let's do it.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna go with performance on that one as well for P. I'm hoping for a hole out on a par 5 second shot. You get lots of cool bounces. You can get lots of rollout, maybe some wind at the back. Hoping to see a long dunk out there this week.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Mine for emotion, somebody cries for any reason, good or bad, right? So somebody, it can be anybody. It could be Jonathan Wagner. It doesn't matter, but like somebody is caught on the broadcast, a human of any participation or responsibility in this tournament cries.
Could even be a random fan. They
Sure.
see a fan.
Yeah, it could be anybody. As long as it's
crying,
on
check the
camera.
box. Okay.
If you see someone cry, let us know about it.
Family member. Yeah, it's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah.
I think I was for the emotion part. This is maybe too narrow, but I'm saying Rory wins.
Okay.
Is the pick, so that's obviously emotional, right? People are going to be going crazy. Fans will be going crazy. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's the clear favorite for the hometown crowd, so that would be a big drama scene for sure. Low probability and amongst all the, other things we might pick, but would be a cool one.
Let's see what the odds are compared to the hole in one.
He's like plus 700 or something.
Plus 700.
It's like 7-8 to 1.
Okay. Cool. I can get behind it. Coop.
Yeah. Similarly, I think I'm counting on a special piece during the broadcast about local youth inspired by Rory, hometown, Northern Ireland.
This is exactly the kind of one I hope would show up. Yes.
Exactly. We got to have some story, some kid who just came out and, this week won a scholarship or shot a personal best or, saved a kitten in a tree with his golf game, something like that, because of Rory
Yep.
McIlroy. And I think that we're going to see something like that. I mean, I'm sure the producers are out there hunting for it to make this come true.
Yep. 100%. That's a great example of what I'm trying to do here with this card. We want the whole thing, right? Next for me, I think we got a range of difficulties here in odds. Just any wild animal on the broadcast. We see a bird, a fish, something, a fox, whatever it is. If we see any animal on the broadcast, then this one hits.
Osprey. Let's get
I
it.
have bad news for you on this one.
Okay.
I noticed this is courtesy of the Fried Egg, Greg, but in their newsletter they say that for those who like animal content, I wouldn't expect to see too many seagulls on the golf course this week. 3
Okay.
Harris's hawks are carried around by wildlife specialists intended to scare off seagulls. So I guess if you count the
think-
hawk,
Yeah, we do.
okay,
And it's
All right.
crazy that actually specific, like the irony of that is funny.
I know.
But I think the hawk makes it more likely to show up on, because that's going to be a story.
But those
right?
are
They're gonna be like,
domestic,
if
technically. They're not wild animals.
oh, so let me change just any animal.
Non-human?
Right? Like it doesn't have to be. It could be domesticated. It could be a dog. Yeah, any non-human animal on the broadcast.
Okay.
Good.
I,
Good.
I,
point.
I believe dogs aren't allowed on the beach
saw that.
at Portrush, though. So that's lowering your odds. But you got the
Sure,
Hawks.
sure.
So,
I'm gonna get a bookie to create odds on this at some point with all this information we're updating.
I
Run a machine
I hope
learning
somebody
model
tries
on it.
walking their cat out there, because it says there's no dogs, but you can,
Sure.
do that.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Good loophole.
So the forecast, I think, calls for winds at like 10 miles an hour, which is pretty mild. We've all played in the UK. I'm really hoping to see wind gusts over 25 miles per hour, right? I want to see like some hitting at odd angles, clubbing up, right? So some real links golf impacted by the wind out there this week. So nature showing up, pushing against the players.
I like it. Nature flexing. All right.
Yeah.
Chris, what's your nature one?
yeah, I had a similar thing, not wind, but rain. So the forecast is rain, I think, every day for what looked like the majority of the day. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of rain out there. But so my pick for this box of the card is I think we're going to see some sort of delay, whether that's the cut isn't going to be on the end of day Friday. Some people are going to have to play on Saturday, or the tournament extends all the way into Monday because they can't get it in because of, too severe rain or thunder, anything like that, stoppage of play. I think we're going to see some sort of delay because it seems like we're going to get lots of weather this week, which is funny because, like, if you've been watching all the pictures and posts and everything, it seems like there's absolutely perfect weather right now. It's like sunny, warm, no wind. But according to the forecast, that's going to flip as of this evening.
They don't call it the storm before the storm. You know what I mean? All right, so we need 4 more. I'll do one. Y'all think of and help me out here to complete our card here. I'm just gonna say, like, I think if with Hatton, there's always an opportunity here. Even with Shane Lowry, there's an opportunity. Just any F-bomb caught on mic for outrage. It obviously will be maybe bleeped out in the broadcast or not. I think we can understand the intent of the golfer a little bit. Probably some USGA rules on this, but F-bomb caught on a hot mic. So that takes us, we're good with outrage. We just need 1 for performance, 1 for emotion, and 1 for nature.
I don't know which category this fits in, but I think we'll get some sort of ridiculous Johnson Wagner replay of some sort of shot or happening on the course. So that's, I don't know if that's performance or perhaps it's yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's drama. That goes in the emotion category. We're going to get him doing something ridiculous. Like he replayed the Bryson bunker shot after the US Open last year. He's bouncing balls off of contours on the course. He's doing all sorts of ridiculous stuff. I think we're going to see a little bit of that this week for
So
something.
is this going to be like a smell test thing? Like, how do we establish that it's ridiculous like the U.S. Open one last year was a good example because he hit almost even a better shot than Bryson did on his second one. Bryson helped him. The first one I don't think was, but so that's clearly ridiculous, right? Like he hit a very difficult shot very well. Is it like, are we just going by like Twitter vibes? Like people are talking about it. Is it just like he looks stupid and becomes a meme? Like kind of how do we measure this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be if you'll know it when you see it type of thing.
Okay.
Well, I think by and large, if he's out on the course doing something that a player did that was a rare occurrence, that probably counts. But yeah, I think we'll know when we see it.
Okay. I like it. We need a performance. We need a nature.
This is tangential, but I don't know if you guys follow Claire Rogers. She does the ice cream interviews with folks. She's at the Open, and she set a goal for herself of finishing one beer while at the Open this week. She's tried a Guinness. She's tried some other type of lager. I think we're going to see it. I think she's going to accomplish the goal. Claire Rogers finishes one beer before Sunday and posts about it on social media.
So performance?
Yeah.
All right. Claire Rogers. My Notion, every time I type, logs me out and then logs me back in. If you're a PM at Notion, hit me up. Claire Rogers finishes a beer before the final putt on Sunday.
Yes.
And then nature, last one.
What do we got? We did wind. We did rain. What else should we pick?
Should we call a Jordan Spieth interacting with not wildlife but bushes or something like that and making a par or better after a penalty or lost ball?
Yep.
Jordan Spieth par or better after a penalty lost ball.
Yeah, scrambles after being somewhere in nature.
Somewhere in
you
nature,
can figure out a way to write that. I get the vibe of what you're saying. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so we have our open card filled out. I'll put this into an easily shareable little format, and then maybe Coop, you tweet out kind of the what to look for today. We can all see that, everyone ingests it. And then we're gonna need, the Links Now Army to be out there looking for this stuff. You're watching the tournament anyway. We only have 2, 4, 6, 7 eyes, so just make sure that you're watching. So that tag us in that thread, and then we'll keep track and cross it off. Cool. We'll see how this goes. Admittedly, again, could be a huge dud. I'm excited about it because again, we're really thinking about the whole tournament. We're not just thinking about the golf on the course.
Greg's gonna be up at 2 a.m. with his bingo, his open card, checking things off, scouring the feed.
Yeah, grinding tape for sure. You can go to any podcast and you can hear about how the golfers are gonna play. Only here do you go for the vibes. All right, so but more like finally, who are you gonna stick your neck out? Who actually wins?
I'm going Rory. Sticking with it. That was my original gut. Despite the bad vibes coming from the OB balls, despite the potential for a collapse because of the hometown nerves, I'm sticking with it. I said he was going to win the Grand Slam this year. That didn't happen, but got to ride for the guy.
Okay.
Fitzpatrick. I'm pulling for Fitzy.
Fitzy.
He was looking good last week.
I'm gonna be different and say Rom, just to have something to root for. Because if you win, I win with Rory. Seeing Fitzy win would be great, and I would like to see John Rahm reemerge at some point, which he's showing some signs of life.
Rahm has a really good Open Championship record, like surprisingly good. I saw some info about that this week. He's like top 10 in however many past Opens, and I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so one thing, mostly because of the Atlantic connection, but also, so last night, I don't know if you guys watched this. We got 2 more things left here. One is Chris is gonna tell us a story. We're gonna get story time with Chris. But before that, last night was the MLB All-Star Game. Baseball is a niche sport. I
go.
get it, but all three of us are baseball fans, so I assume that you at least heard about this for the
Not
first
as
time
niche as
ever.
golf. So
That's true. Sometimes it feels like it, but that's because we work in golf. Uh, the So they had the MLB All Star Game. The National League jumped out to a huge start, right? They were winning, I think 5-0. American League came back and tied it up. I actually didn't know that they changed the rules. They don't do baseball regular season. They have now extra innings. Player starts on second base. They're trying to speed things up. They don't want these 17-inning games. Even worse for the All-Star Game, obviously. But there's also stakes for the All-Star Game because the winning league, that team in the World Series, gets home field advantage, right? It's like a pretty successful way to make people care about the All-Star Game compared to my favorite sport, the NBA, which no one cares. So I didn't know this, but they do basically a home run derby in the extra innings. Each team, each manager chooses 3 players. So there's 6 players participating in this. This is at the very end of the game. By the way, some players have already left. Like they got taken out of the game and they just got on a jet and went home.
Otani,
so you're left
Judge,
with, like,
gone.
all gone. Like all the best the guys. Like it's just they showed one guy who came back out in street clothes. Like it's a bizarre situation. You pick 3 players, and each player gets 3 contacts. Right, so you can take pitches. You don't have to swing at every pitch. Obviously, if you miss, what you get three
Swings.
pitches, swings, yeah. And if you hit a home run, you get a point, and it alternates. So National League hits first. How many home runs do they get? American League, then they rotate through, and the most home runs of those 3 batters, 3 phases, 6 batters, wins the game. Like that's what decides the game. I was fascinated by this. I loved it. There was not a consensus on Twitter if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I thought it was fun. The reason I'm bringing it up is what would the golf equivalent of this be? Like what would be the way, instead of going for like a full-on playoff, which is fine, how should they determine a tie at a major championship in a way that's as novel as the All-Star Game?
Was this inspired by the TGL chip-off? Because we saw this in TGL. It was alternating 3 guys. It's the same concept. Sure. Whoever gets closest, right? I mean,
it would be wild if they influenced the All-Star Game and not actually created an audience for people to watch TGL. But that,
yeah,
they got some people watching. I think that's the clear analogy though. It's either a chip off or you're like setting up putts and whoever drains the most 8-footers or something, which would be super boring. They definitely should not do that. But that's definitely the golf equivalent. But,
maybe
I was seeing lots of outrage. People like bet on the game at a certain line, but then it's obviously a tie because there is no more run differential and people are pissed about it. Like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And
then Dave Roberts was interviewed asking who the winning pitcher should be, and he said it should be the BP pitcher, and he was obviously joking, but some people thought he was serious. And he's like, he absolutely should be the winning pitcher. He won the game. I think so. There's a cool version of something I did at an event recently where it's a blind chip off where everyone has to be silent and you don't know where the other person's ball went. So like everyone closes their eyes, like who's hitting, and then it'd be impossible to keep thousands of people quiet, but I want something with some kind of drama like that. But yeah, I think like, a chip off is certainly there. There's some, saver metrics you can get into on strokes gained on who's going to be your best player. But yeah, Coop, do you have any ideas for this? Maybe this is something we have to like marinate on, but I'd be in favor of this instead of a playoff because I was so in favor of this all-star ending.
I think like playoff, like drive, chip, putt is another concept. I think we're talking about teams here, right? Like I think it works better for Ryder Cup if you did like perhaps a 1-hole playoff but alt shot, right? You have to like draft a person to drive, a person to approach, and a person to putt for each team.
Ooh, that's fun.
And then you play one hole but like as a team. I think that would be something cool, but for an individual sport, right, it's got to be something like the chip off.
Fair. All right, cool. I like it. Cook. What's your name? Chris, go ahead and tell us the story.
We should time check. Are we good? I can also save this for later. We've got a lot of chatter.
Spoiler.
You want me to hit it now?
We're already here. Come on. Yeah.
We're here. The chat. Okay. So I had a roller coaster of a round the other day, which I felt like would be fun to share with you guys. You guys would appreciate it think people will appreciate hearing the story. So
Yep.
just as background, so I'm an 8 handicap, right? Which I think a lot of people will hear that and say, oh, that means he averages 80, right? 72 plus 8. But that's not the case for a couple of reasons. One is just how your handicap index is calculated. It only takes your best scores and all that stuff. So the other reason is at my home course is difficult. It's very difficult. So I can shoot a 82, 83 or whatever, and it's a 8 differential. So all of that is to say, I've only broken 80 a handful of times, and I've never broken it at my home course, which has been like a white whale. It's like, I'm getting better. Scores are improving. I've broken 80 elsewhere. I've never done it at my home course, which I played, God knows how many times. So it's this thing I've been striving to do. So earlier this week, I'm playing around at my home course. And first off, I start par birdie, which obviously, get visions of grandeur in my head going immediately.
You're under
which,
par.
always
You're like,
a
I'm
bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to shoot even today. Obviously that starts immediately, which of course did not happen. But started off really strong. And I was playing solo, as I will sometimes do. I'm trying to squeeze in around, play super fast. And my course is the holes kind of intertwine, they connect in a lot of spots. So what I'll often do is, like, rather than playing through a group, which can be awkward, takes time, whatever, I'll divert off. I'll head to a different hole if it's open, and then loop back to play the holes that I skipped, just to get the round in as fast as possible. So I did that. I actually did it twice yesterday, just because of where people were on the course and stuff. So I did that, and so I'm finishing. I guess it was 9. I was playing the front second, and then I had to go back to hole 4 and hole 5 to finish up. And I looked down at my Arcos, and I'm +6 on a par 71 course, by the way. So I'm like, I have 2 holes left, and I could bogey both of them. I'd shoot a 79. So then immediately, obviously, it's like things are now more real and more tense. Yeah.
Yep.
So head to hole 4, hit a fine shot, par 3, hit it in the bunker, but up, 2-putt, got a bogey. So now I just have to bogey the 5th hole. And now it's, it's getting realer and realer as the moment is the shots go on. So hit absolutely horrible drive, but hit a decent second shot. It's really long. It's actually the number 1 handicap hole on the course. It's hardest hole on the course that I have to bogey. But hit a second shot, hit a great flop shot. And then, so I just have to 2-putt. It's probably like a 12 to 14 footer, not a long one. Just have to 2-putt. So I hit a very good lag. I was lagging from 14 feet just to, I'm like, okay, if I make it for 78, that's great. But 2-putt for 79. And then I do it. I 2-putt for 79. I'm like, and I'm there, solo round, right? But I'm there. I'm like, hell yeah. Finally did it. Crossed it off the list. So then I open my Arcos app to like close the round, enter the score. And it says like 68 up top for the score. I'm like, wait, what? And I go and look. I totally forgot I had not done the second set of holes that I skipped because I had diverted all around. So I was like, yes, finally did it. And then I looked down, I actually have 3 more holes to play. And I'm like crushed. I'm absolutely crushed. I was at the highest of highs, and like, oh my God, you're so, I was going through all the emotions. I was angry. I was like, you're so stupid. It's like, I was like, and then I'm like, well, yeah, that makes total sense, you idiot. Like, didn't even feel like I was playing that good. Like, of course I wasn't going to shoot a 78. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm like, yeah. So I've been at the high. Now I'm like at the complete low And I'm like, oh my God, I have to go play these 3 holes. I thought I did it. And, I bogeyed the last 2.
Sure.
And I was playing like kind of my average golf for after the hot start. I was playing average for me golf. And then, so I go to play these last 3 holes. So the first one, par 3, actually hit it too well, hit it over the green, but then hit an awesome flop shot to 1 foot, tap in. So I got a par. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Second hole, crushed a drive, but left. I have to hit this like perfect, I have to draw it around a tree to get towards the green from like 200 out. But long story short, I hit a like absolutely perfect shot to like 18 feet from 200 yards out, 2-putt, par. So now, now I am again at the spot where I need a par, not a bogey, but I'm now back in the same spot I was, where like I gotta shoot a score.
It feels like a crypto market.
I know, yeah, totally. I'm back there. I've gone up, I've gone down. But so I'm back in the same spot like 30 minutes later of like, okay, I've got to hit the score to finally break 80 at my home course. And now I know it's correct. I've double checked. I know this is for real.
Fool me once. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So absolutely hit a perfect drive, middle of the fairway. I'm like 95, 100 yards out. Hit a perfect wedge into I landed at like 6 feet from the hole, I think inside 6 feet, but it spun back to maybe like 12 to 15 and 2-putted for par. And we did it. We rocked them.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's
rocked
go.
them. But oh my God, I was so happy. And then I was so pissed at myself. And then I was so happy again. We got it back. We did it.
What an emotional
So
roller
that
coaster.
was my roller coaster of a round for this week.
Wow.
I think it's like though excellent practice emotionally though to like think you had to do it, and then now you're kind of freed up. Like maybe you hadn't have gotten there on that last par if you hadn't have, because in your brain it was real. Like it doesn't really matter. Like your psychosomatic whatever is still firing in the way that this is like the biggest pressure you've had on that course. So that's great. A, I'm really happy you did it, and B, I was trying to think in my head. I think it was a good story. I was like trying to think which direction this was going to go. It was a roller coaster for sure. Because like at one point I was like, oh, he definitely did it. No, he definitely didn't do it. And then there was like the middle part of the plot, and then it ended up did it anyway. We had a happy ending. It was great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I didn't tell you guys when it happened, just so you could go in blind for the story.
Yeah.
Love it. Saving the
I
content
appreciate
for
it.
the pod.
Genuinely a good plot.
Yeah. That's great.
It's great.
Yeah. You look down and be like, that's the fastest round I ever played. You're 3 holes short, like setting records.
Man,
It
I'm
did seem a
cooking
little
this.
early. Yeah.
Sure.
So dumb.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Great
congrats,
story.
Congrats on
Great
the
pod.
breaking 80
Yeah, for sure.
stateside.
All right. Well, that's it for this week. If you're still listening, we appreciate you. Thank you if you're watching. Appreciate it. Thanks for grinding in the comments. A lot of good ideas in there. We're excited about this open thing this week. Excited about the Gemini credit card. Hit us up in Discord with any guest ideas you have. Make sure you're paying attention to the open. Tell us what you're noticing. Follow the pod. Leave a review. Stay tuned for more content. And thank you for watching so that we can create more for you. We will see you next week.
See y'all.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.
Bye.